Hey, today we're going to learn how to paint this painting of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Let's get started with the colors. Cad yellow, primary yellow, pearly red dark, quin red, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, quin blue, turquoise, phthalo green. Alright, the next stage is we're going to add our paper. We got all this different style paper. We got one of kind of the Swedish American flag. We have kind of the school paper. We have a little bit of the secret husband paper, the mother and child, and a little symbol there. From we have her Jewish background here. We're adding a little bit of that. We have her sororities. I think I have to add that. I don't think I have that yet. Some of the female characters from history who came before her. So they'd obviously be the early women's rights leaders in America. We got the Fourth Amendment paper. We have the Me Too paper in her book. The Fourth Amendment and the New York Times, because she was featured in New York Times as an author. Her husband and Nabokov. Lolita, Nabokov's favorite, most notorious book. She was one of her favorite authors. We have Jewish paper. We have presidential paper with the presidents. Some of her sayings I've done in black and white here, on colors. We got this paper as well, which is kind of covering some of her cases. And we have her death paper, but I'm not thinking we're going to use that, but we're going to stick it on here and see what happens, guys. Alright, we got our first layer in. This is all upside down because I have a little trim off the end, so I just want to leave that hanging, let it dry until it's really stiff and hard and I can cut it nicely. So we have kind of the Jewish paper, we have the New York Times paper, we have some of our quotes here a little bit, also up here. We have the symbol of the law and one of the case symbols. We have her Jewish heritage here, her sorority sister is here. We have some of the historical women leaders of the 1920s for suffrage movement, same here. We have some symbols of the husband. We have the Me Too movement and her book. We have the New York Times and the Fourth Amendment, so she was a big proponent of the Fourth Amendment. One of her school symbols. Here's the presidents. They gave her power, Jimmy Carter and Clinton. And also she sponsored one of the bills that Obama signed, so I have that there. Sorry guys, no Republicans. And we have her Nabokov and her husband, so two leading influences on her life. Although really I like the symbol of Lolita better because it's more, you know what it's for. And then we have some of her sayings again, so this is the same as up here, so down here repeated. And we have the Swedish American flag, Swedish because she actually learned Swedish and could speak and write it and wrote a book in Swedish about law. So yeah, we'll let this dry and then we'll layer it several times to make it really hard and crispy, this layer. Alright, so we're back again. We're going to add in our paper details. So we have this symbol we're going to add in the background, kind of cascade it through there. We're going to add the word justice. So I have to cut this out on top of paper and then stencil it in. And we have the main image. It's gigantic, so it'll look like this big. So we'll cut that in and go from there. All right, so we're moving on to the stage. We put the paper up here. I forgot to tape that. And then we're taking this off so you'll see this kind of clear through. And I'm outlining it. So I've outlined the white here so that I can know that's white. And I'm gonna do the pearl as well. So I'll have this nice white, and then the pupils of the eyes will have white. And then the rest we'll fill it in. And so I gotta cut this off and see where we go from there. All right, we just put in the eyes, the whites of the eyes, and the white collar and the pearl. So now, I mean, we could probably work around this, but I really don't want to get close to the eyes and this really clean line here. So I'm gonna wait, let this dry. And once it's drier, then I'll add the black gown, as well as the background, which is gonna be this kind of reddish purple and a pink background for the face. So we'll have the pink, the reddish purplish kind of color, and black here, and that'll be the next layer. For this next layer, we've added the tape. I'm gonna kind of match to this color here. This is kind of what our client wanted. And we're gonna use kind of a lighter, kind of almost pink color here, and go to really dark red, almost to a black in the corners. So that'll really draw the attention to the center. And yeah, and then we'll come back and do this probably right after that. Alright, so we got that red layer in. It goes red to dark. I might darken it a little bit more as I see how it dries. I added the black. It's, you know, kind of translucent, but it has to read pretty black to be a juror's smock. I don't know what they're called. Shirt. And then we'll do the rest pink here. I'm gonna have to redo the face a little bit here. I went a little bit too far in the red. So we're gonna have to kind of carry that eye over here and then probably poke the head over a little bit more here. I cut it a little bit too much. You know what happens, so it just maybe a couple millimeters over, and we'll get that fixed. But I can probably just paint it over with the pink, and I think that'll be good enough. All right, at this stage we're gonna tape out the word justice, and I'm gonna cut it all out, so we'll see how it goes. Now we're going to do this stencil, and this will be repeated stencil, so we'll see how this works out. It will get messier as I use it, so we'll see how that works out. Alright, so we got our stencils done, we got the justice done, the symbol. We're still letting this dry. I think it's getting close, but I think we need maybe another good 20 minutes to make sure that's really dry. And the next layer will be that pink, and we'll do the black here. I'll do the black here with the stencil, so I'll just leave that. I'll just do the pink, fill this all in, and we got to cover up here to make sure to extend that eye, fix the eye again, and move on to the next layer. All right, we're back again with the painting. Today we're taping this in and tape the eyes. I got to fix the face and fill in that pink, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so we got the pink layer, it's drying. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the black to kind of speed this along, and we'll see how that dries and how it lines up. We might need to retouch on the black. Alright guys, we just got the yellow symbols put in, we have the pink face added with the shadows. Hopefully that's going to line up. I think her face is supposed to go a little bit longer, so maybe I fill that in. It's a little bit cut and short there, I think, just based on the photo. And maybe her chin should be higher up, obviously just based on how the shadow's going. But I didn't do this symbol here, I just thought it's fine just in the background here. You want her to pop ahead of that, so I could have done her clear, like the symbol clear through here, but I don't think it's really necessary per se. And so I'll just leave her on top of that because that's kind of what she represents versus, she's obviously part of the movement, but you don't want the movement to be more stronger than her, I think, in symbolism. So we'll leave that as is, maybe correct the face a little bit more and see where we go from there. All right, we're getting ready to our next layer, which I'm gonna add this justice here. I've cut it even, so I should line up at the bottom, and hopefully that's straight. You never know when you cut your things if it's actually straight or not. And I researched a little bit, and actually the color purple is the color of equality, supposedly. And a lot of, it's been associated with the equality movement for women. So I'm gonna use a purple here. Ideally, I would use a gray to go with the black, but because to me silver and black is kind of a nice contrast and it would play better with your clothes. But I mean, if it's purple, it's purple. I think that makes more sense. I made it a little bit lighter so it does stand out against the black, so hopefully that works really well in the end painting. Alright, we're at the last stage. We're going to add the stencil. It's off on this side, but I'm going to tape that off. We already got the black outlined in here. I had the challenge with the eyes. Sometimes the stencil kind of moves around. It's always funny trying to line it up. This is normal here because I have to fill in the face, so that's correct. And this should go out a little bit. So yeah, it's always kind of a quandary, like which part do you line up the best? And you got to kind of choose your bets once that's made. This is fine if the black's outlined a little bit deeper than this black. That's a really nice black, but if it goes a little darker, it's fine. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out once we add the black here. All right, here goes nothing. Hey guys, it's ShawNshawN here. Just finished the painting. I want to go over it real quick with you. So we got some of the details. We got the nice fist. It's dark. It's dried a little bit darker than it was originally, so I kind of like this a little better. Originally it was a very bright orange and kind of very dominant, but now it's kind of faded more to the background. You got really nice versions over here, so it's not too dominant. I went ahead and corrected the eye. That was really struggling with the eye. It was way off. I think because I didn't realize those eyes were off in the beginning, so I kind of corrected its shirt and that eye a little bit. I'm thinking it's pretty exact now. Shows a little bit of that foreshortening on the left side. I kind of softened the shadows. It was that really heavy black, and I just kind of went to browns. You know, it's not really like that black-white style I like, but I think it works well with the fact that this is just, yeah, it's a realistic portrait. So, and I softened the neck line a little bit, left some of that brown, but I kind of softened that. It's a little more smoother now. I don't know what this is called, a corset, or I don't know. This thing she wears around her neck, it looks really sharp, I think. There was a little more white closer up. I probably could have left that, but I kind of wanted that nice harsh line. You got at the bottom the word justice, which, you know, obviously goes with her. It's very subtle, so maybe I should lighten that up. It's it stood out a little bit earlier, but now it's dried and it's kind of set back a little bit more. Overall, it's a pretty good painting. I don't know why this is struggling, but it's struggling to focus on me. I guess I'm too attractive. Anyway, I think it's a pretty good painting overall. I haven't done this style in quite a while, so it was a little bit of a struggle with the black outline. The stencil didn't work out quite how I wanted to for some reason. I think because I cut off too much on the side of the face for the heavy shadowing, because before I've done this style and I did enough black and white contrast, so to say, so the negative space was very light and then you couldn't really see the outline. When I did my Hunger Games one, Effie was very light and this one is very dark, so I just wanted to make sure that stood out, and I cut a little bit too much into the face, which I think is fine when I did Scarface, for example, because it's a masculine painting, so it's okay if it's exaggerated. But with the feminine painting, you still want it to look kind of a little female, a little bit softer in the characteristics, a little bit smoother, and it's a commission, so I'm kind of like, I didn't really feel comfortable, you know, leaving it that harsh. I redid the ear. The ear was looking horrible before. I don't know what happened when I cut it out, but it just didn't work at all. I think this looks a little bit more like your ear. It probably could be maybe shifted a little bit on the side. Maybe that's a little bit too wide, but I think it looks more, it reads like an ear now, so it looks fine. And that's corrected. The hairline's fine. I add a little bit of lines, a little bit here and there to kind of make it look more like hair. You definitely want a little bit of thin lines coming out to kind of show that it is hair. I didn't do a lot, but I left a little bit. And yeah, basically I just kind of, you know, fine-tuned it a little bit from what I originally ended. And I think it reads a lot better now. It feels more like a face. I don't know if that side of the face is the right darkness. Maybe it should be a little bit dark under the eye a little more, but I kind of wanted to show, to be able to read the face easily, so now you can do that. Hopefully you guys think it works. I think it works. Give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, you can subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next painting tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys.